Are you ready for the best damn sports radio show on the planet? Man Hour Nation, rise up.
I would like to personally welcome you to Man Hour After Dark. Say that where I bring you the host, Mike, Buck, and Cone. You know who coming to the sports talk than what you about to hear right here. I second that.
Go. You know that it's us when we talking about sports. Giving you facts on the field to the core. Tune in, we need the support. 1 hour too short, then listen some more. On all your stations, not dropping no music. Stripes like Adidas, but Nike just do it. Down 4 in the 4th, we go for the win. Michael 2 seconds, we taking it in. Buck, Mike, and Combs, you know what's going on. Man, now we're After Dark, no LA, we the big spark. No 4th and inches won't cut you short. Got the best talking, it's all sports. Buzzing more than buzz beaters. We coming live, all 3 speakers go.
And what is up, Man Hour Nation? Michael Buckhouse here with the Man Hour. Head over to manhourradio.com. Check out the merchandise page. Check out the blog section. Of course, become a member over there as well. As little as $3 a month, you become a member. You get some behind the scenes footage. You get the access to the after show, and of course, you get discount on merchandise. But let's welcome the man, the myth, the coronavirus-free man himself, Brandon Combs. What's going on, BC?
What is going on, Michael Buckheister? What is going on, Man Hour Nation? Big X Radio, man. I am glad to be back. That whatever it was I had, and it was not coronavirus. So
I said corona-free.
I had corona.
I said corona-free.
I did not have corona. I got papers to prove it. But anyway, whatever it was, man, that beat me down for a couple days, man. I thought I was over it, and then all of a sudden it just came back tenfold. So me and Wyatt sat here and talked on the show, I believe it was last night or 2 nights ago, saying that about the coronavirus rate of like negative test or like false positive was like pretty high. Maybe you got a false negative, man. Like just well, you talked. Wyatt just kind of blew up, balloon animals and did all sorts of other things while you were talking. I was watching, guys. I was down, but I was not out. I was watching, and I just I don't know. He's blowing up beach balls. He's making balloon animals. He's doing all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know what the heck he was doing, but he was doing something. But he got some good news today, didn't he? The Packers made a signing.
Yeah, we are going to definitely talk about that coming up here on the Man Hour, but spoiler alert, Kevin King and the Packers are now united in one, and King they trust. So King me, as Wyatt Williams comes on, already shaking his head in disgust. Wyatt, what's going on, man?
I don't know. It's a rough day. I've had better days. I'll just say that. Kevin King re-signed. I've had better days.
Kevin King, as part on behalf of the Man Hour Nation, on behalf of Chicago Bears fans everywhere, welcome back, sir.
Yes.
Welcome back to Green Bay, Kevin King. We are, man.
Yes. Kevin King, welcome home,
signing
man. Welcome
of the
home.
off season. They lost their running back.
No, the signing of the offseason was Andy Dalton to Chicago.
You know what? Andy Dalton's going to get to torch Kevin King twice this year.
He's not torching Kevin. Kevin's better than that. Kevin doesn't puke on us till the playoffs, man.
Oh, okay.
Well, guys, we will definitely get into some Kevin.
He pukes, though.
We will definitely get into some Kevin King talk.
Yes, we will.
We will talk a little bit about Josh Gordon wants to go back to the NFL draft. Kansas got their butt kicked last night. Of course, we got the what does. And, of course, the Hump Day Blues is all coming up here on the Man Hour. But, Combs, you have been out for a few days here, catching your witch, catching your breath, just healing. Because, let's be honest, when men get sick, when guys get sick, it is the end of the world. We are on our deathbed no matter what. We could have, a hangnail. We're we're dying. But I am glad you are back, man. How do you legitimately feel?
I feel 100 times better, man. Today was a busy day, but it was good to get out, good to get some fresh air, good to start feeling myself again. I just been over the last couple of days, just couldn't get over this cough and this sneeze, and then all of a sudden, just tired, just down and out tired for some reason. Took a couple days, but I'm back at it. I'm good to go, man.
Well, one thing that always kind of gets me down with the sickness, right, is stress, and there are some stressful things happening in your in your life, planning a wedding, kids and life, just in general. So like I mean, like obviously you did test negative for the COVID, but like it could have just been that, like maybe the stress just finally took its toll on you. Just say, like, hey, you need to calm down.
It's been a crazy. So we got off the air on Thursday, and that Thursday night at like 11:30, I got a phone call, and that Brandon Jr. had rolled his car, and luckily he escaped. And he escaped. All he had was a cut on his knee and in an injured finger. But he, man, I didn't really like. I was happy he was okay. It was kind of, you went through all the degrees of everything, like scared, happy, anger, and then then I saw the pictures of the car, and at that point, everything else went out the window. I was just happy he was all right,
right,
because when I say I was probably inches away from losing my son, man, I was inches away from losing my son. So I would not be surprised if you're correct. Maybe there was some stress going on, but whatever it was, I'm just glad that it is past, and we can get back to talking sports with you two buffoons.
Yeah, so one thing that like you guys don't see on the backside of the thing here, like if you're not a members only, is like we are all legitimately like friends. Like I care what Wyatt does, like just like how he's doing in life and school. And Combs, I care what you're doing, right? I mean, like when you called me, Friday afternoon, like at 11 o'clock in the morning, and like I could like sense like panic like in your voice. But I wasn't going to let you know that I knew that you were scared, right? Right. I wasn't going to let you like I was trying to keep it calm and collected, kind of like what like a friend should do. Like I think in that situation, but
I called you right after I had seen the pictures too, so I was still like that. It shook me up, man. Seeing those pictures, I'm not sure if I don't think I sent them to you, Wyatt, but I mean, when you see the pictures of this car, like I don't know how this kid made it, especially not wearing it. He wasn't even wearing his seatbelt, and he still made it through it. And he's lucky, and it shook him up. It scared him as well as it should have, and hopefully, it's just one of them tough life lessons that you learn, because we all learn them. We all go through stuff. We all do stupid stuff. He's still a 17-year-old kid. He had only had his car for 3 days. So
Jeez.
We all make mistakes. Things happen. I'm just forever thankful that he's all right, because that kid. Look, I've got 6 kids, but he's one of my best friends too, man. Like me and Junior are extremely close, and it could have been really rough. But luckily, everything's good, and by the grace of God, we're all still here. So
on the bright side of things, we can all kill some noobs on Fortnite. So Combs Jr., I'm still waiting for you to add me, man. I sent out that friend request, but I keep getting the deny button. So I kind of feel like I'm bothering you right now. But I'm gonna be that crazy ex. I'm gonna keep knocking until you answer the door.
Yeah.
So definitely. So speaking of, learning life lessons here, let's go ahead and flip the script here. And Siakam got a $50,000 fine for yelling at his coach. Wyatt, you are the NBA guy here on the show. Siakam really isn't known for this stuff too much here, but a $50,000 fine for yelling at your coach. Are you okay with players getting fines like this?
No, not at all. It's part of the game. I mean, you're always going to have confrontation as being a part of a team, as being part of a family and stuff. And Pascal Siakam is normally a really quiet person. He's not a person to do this, as you mentioned. So in a way, it was kind of surprising to see. And I think that's why the NBA kind of took it off guard, because you don't really see him acting like that normally. So I don't know if they panicked. I don't know what the move was. It was stupid, in my opinion. You know what? Conversation's going to happen. It's just life. It's part of the game. It's not always going to be sunshine and rainbows at every moment. You're going to have moments where people disagree. You're going to have moments where people don't like what you're doing. That is life. That's not just basketball. You're going to have moments like that. The Packers signing Kevin King, and I just want to punch his face. It happens. It just happens.
Oh my word!
So Combs, we were talking pre-show with Tori, and he said Latrell Sprewell got less of a fine for choking out his coach. Kind of like the same thing here. So first things first, are you okay with players getting fined for like being like emotional?
Yeah, look, I mean, there's still a level of respect that you have to have for your peers, and your coach is your peer. Like you still have to have a level of respect. And as a coach and as a team, you can't let stuff like that go on because chaos ensues, right? I mean, if you let one guy do this, the next guy's gonna be like, oh, well, yeah, whatever. If I'm upset, I'm just gonna go off on the coach too. Like, so you have to stop it at some point, and you have to sit down and you have to talk to them. Look, I get where you were coming from. I understand you were upset. It's an emotional game. We all get emotional. We all get upset. Right. But actions have consequences, right? That's what we teach our kids. Actions have consequences. That's what we teach the players too. Your actions are going to cost you a fine so that the next guy doesn't think he can get away with it as well. So right. I have no problem with coaches or teams finding players. But I also have no problem with players getting emotional and having that time. Even it just happens, man. Look, when you are an athlete and you are trying to play a professional sport, especially, and you're trying to win every time, I just, I think that you're going to get emotional in times that you don't expect to get emotional. And this just happens to be one of those times.
Right. So I am a coach here at the high school level, clearly not the pros. So I kind of like, when like you were like the new kid at like at a school or like a job, or like you pick out the biggest, baddest MFer and you knock him out, right? Yeah. So like I kind of do that for like my players. Like I take out, the leader, the cool kid. And I'm singling you out for the first week of practice. I'm making your life hell. You were going to do so many up downs, so many running, yada. So like I kind of feel like that's what this fine. So my first year, that player was Tyler Edwards. I knew Tyler Edwards was, like the leader of that group. Tyler hated me for 6 weeks. And then finally, after I, broke the horse, right? I'm like, I'm like, hey man, like I'm just trying to get you to this next level, play
and
good.
That's,
and then we clicked.
My kids, when I coach hockey, I've coached hockey on all sorts of levels, high school, juniors. I've coached at all levels. I've roughed at all levels. And one thing that I coach my kids to say, hey, look, if something's going on the ice that you don't like, or if there's something that I'm doing that you don't like, and you voice it with me on the ice, we're going to have a problem. But if you voice it with me in that locker room, we'll talk about it. It's not a problem. You can come. There's a big difference. It's just a respect level. You don't come at me in front of everybody, and I'm not going to come at you in front of everybody. But behind closed doors, we can hash it out. No problem.
Well, and then see, like I'm kind of the opposite, like about that. I mean, like on the field, like yes, I have fun, and me and my boys, like we have great times, like out on the field. But that first week is hell. Like you are basically earning my respect, like that first week. But like once the games start, like we chill back and like we have a lot of fun. Like if you would ever see practices, for the linebackers. We are out there throwing hand shields around, me like we are doing drills, like we're doing rips and swims and stuff like that. But I have gangster rap blasting, dropping the F word, having a grand old time, and then the AD comes walking out. You can't play that music. Get your mask up. I'm like, man, fire me. Oh, you can't because I'm not but
yeah, and that's the thing. Like behind in the locker room, I mean, my kids always knew if you want to talk to me in the locker room. Don't voice it out on the ice. And I had a kid who was just bigger than everybody. I mean, just towered over everybody.
Right.
Everybody his age was just always smaller than him, and he would never hit a kid. And now this kid was a junior in high school. And I said, why don't you lay into somebody? I said, the next time you have an opportunity to hit, he's like, Coach, every time I hit somebody, I get in trouble. I said, just lay into him, hit him square in the chest, and you're not going to get in trouble. This kid comes to center ice with the puck, and all of a sudden my guy comes in, man, and just hits him in the shoulder. And when I tell you that this kid looked like he murdered somebody on the ice, like it looked like he murdered. I mean, even the puck that was on the ice on the kid's stick went flying into the stands. The stick went flying into the bench, and this kid just laid out at center ice. And the ref's arm went up. I mean, it was a clean hit, as clean as day. Hit him right in the chest. He had the puck and everything. Ref's arm went up just because it looked violent. And while the ref was leading him to the penalty box, he just stared me down the entire way because he knew he was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna talk to you when we get in the locker room. We're gonna have a talk about this."
You hit him too hard. So, guys, before we take our first break, let's go ahead and like address some of these comments coming through here on the youtube.com/manhour page here. Tori Anderson comes out and says, Wyatt, Kevin King just texted him and said, "Catch me outside." How about that?
I'll be there.
Yeah, UFC 261 is now in stock. King versus Williams. Catch me about that. So the next one here, Drew comes out and says that locker room is one thing and public is totally different. So I don't know the whole basis of the Siakam fine. I don't know where it happened. But if it definitely was outside of the locker room, he definitely deserves it 100%. So then also Drew comes out and says, I do think the coach should have a say in whether he gets fined or not. I disagree. I mean, I think it comes from ownership and the chain of command on that. Like, what do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, there's got to be a chain of command. I mean, look, everywhere you go, there's a chain of command. Everywhere through life, there's a chain of command. It starts when you're young because your chain of command is your parents, right? And it's always you ask dad first and then ask mom because mom always has the final say. At least we let her think she has the final say, right?
She does call him, let's be honest.
Yeah,
let's just be honest.
But that's why I'm divorced twice, right?
Yeah, and you had a 13-year-old shave her arms, right?
Yeah, exactly. So you know, God, you had to bring that up, didn't you? But no, and then you go on through life, and the same thing. School, there's the teachers, and then if the teachers don't get it done, you got guidance counselor. If the guidance counselor can't get it done, you got the principal. And then beyond that, it's the same thing. Work, you've always got your first in charge, then you got the boss, and then you got the boss's boss, and then you got the owner of the company, right? So chain of command is important, and it's also important to establish boundaries as well. So when you establish that boundary, that's a good thing. That's a good thing for the entire team.
All right, guys, so we are going to take our first break. On the other side of the break, we are going to jump into the Kevin King news. Not the UFC 261, but him signing a 1-year, I believe it was $8 million deal. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. But we'll be talking to Kevin King on the other side of the break, guys. We'll be right back here on the Man Hour. And welcome back to the Man Hour. Welcome Kevin King back to the Green Bay Packers. If you're going to miss any part of the show whatsoever, head over to manhourradio.com. Click on the podcast and you can listen to the latest episode up there right now. But first things first, let's welcome the boys back on the show. Welcome.
So
sorry about
we
that.
are back on the show. Buck is sneezing all over the place. I promise. I am in Chicago.
Yeah.
Buck's in Southern Indiana. He did not catch it from me as we get back into it. And Kevin King is back in Green Bay. Wyatt Williams is the happiest man on the planet because he will get to see the Green Bay Packers probably get back to another NFC Championship game and probably lose again. So, Wyatt, why don't you tell us about this whole Kevin King deal?
Yeah.
What are your first initial thoughts?
Well, I can't say that on air because
Sure you can.
those words aren't the nicest words in the English language. First initial thoughts. Somebody's going to choke in the playoffs again, and they happen to be in green and gold. That's my team, the Green Bay Packers. I'm sure that anybody who knows how to throw a football could throw it over top of Kevin King and drop it in a place where it needs to be. So, yeah, no, wasn't a good day. Wasn't a good signing. Wasn't happy about it. Wasn't I'm sure Kevin's a great guy, but he really sucks at playing cornerback. So, yeah, I'm just waiting for him to ruin it all again and send us in a direction we don't want to be going, or
He said he really sucks at playing cornerback.
just really sucks at playing cornerback. Just really sucks.
You remember last week, Wyatt, when you were you came in, you had your Green Bay Packers gear on, you had the cheese head on, and you're like,
Yeah.
this is the greatest day ever. Andy Dalton signs with the Bears. Well, buddy, it's back.
Yeah. Yeah.
At least I expect my Bears to be a 3-13 team. You want your team to go win another Super Bowl, and they just re-signed Kevin King.
It's like
They lost Aaron Jones, and their idea was to go back and re-sign Kevin King.
we kept Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones resigned.
Oh, either way, he still got Kevin King.
It was like 4 years, $80 million, something ridiculous.
Yeah.
But,
So they got $90 million tied up in Kevin King and Aaron Jones.
Wyatt,
Aaron Rodgers
like
is happy.
I understand Kevin King got toasted in the NFC Championship game, but he had a pretty good regular season, man.
He's okay in the regular season. He's all right. But, when it comes to playoff time or in big games in the regular season, Kevin King seems to wear camouflage and disappear. That's just what he does.
So basically, you are kind of dogging Kevin King for not showing up in playoff games, aka January. But you praise Lamar Jackson all season, and when he doesn't show up in January,
stop it.
he's
Lamar
like,
Jackson won a playoff game.
My
You even
defense is
said,
very good.
I
Lamar
said, what's
Jackson
Lamar
would be a
Jackson
better
got to do for you
cornerback.
to stop calling him trash? You said,
Lamar
win a
Jackson
playoff
would-
game?
Lamar
Won
Jackson would be a
several
better
playoff
cornerback right now than Kevin King on my Green Bay
No,
Packers.
he
If we signed Lamar Jackson at cornerback, I would be more satisfied than this move to pick up Kevin King at cornerback. You know what, Buck? I would be more satisfied
what?
if I checked
Wyatt.
ESPN and it said Man Hour radio host Michael Buckheister is headed to Green Bay. He is going to sign a 1 year, $8 million deal with the Green Bay Packers to play cornerback because they're cutting Kevin King. I would have been more happy about
Wyatt.
that.
I would
If
have a
Kevin-
sprained
if
ankle and not
Kevin
play for
King-
the Packers.
If Kevin King in the NFC title game has the pick six that
I'll praise
sends the Packers
I'll praise him.
to the Super Bowl. No. If he has a pick six that goes to the Super Bowl, you need to cut your hair, sir,
No.
because you are dogging this
I'm not-
man.
I'm
You are
dogging him
dogging
because he's
this
done this
man.
like
You
3 or
said he
4
doesn't show up in the
times.
playoffs. You want to fight him in the ring because he chokes in the playoffs, and he's not good at playing cornerback. Those are your words. If he
Yes.
does that, then I don't even want you cheering
If he
for
does
that
it,
play.
then more power
I don't want
to
you to
him.
be
If he
happy
does
for
it-
anything that this man
I'll
does.
tell you what, right now, Combs, if he does it, I will make a 5-minute segment where I apologize to Kevin King thoroughly, politically correctly.
No, we're not going to
and
have
in every
5
way,
minutes of
shape,
you
form,
talking
and form,
Green Bay
fashion.
Packers.
You're
That's
tired
I
of
will
political
apologize.
correctness, where Wyatt. We need you to pick a side, Wyatt. No more politically correct down the line
easy.
stuff either.
Look, this man's on your team. You're either rooting for Kevin King or you're not rooting for Kevin King. Which
I'm
one is
rooting
it?
for Kevin King. I've always rooted for Kevin King, but he pukes on me. So it's like I root for him, but when I do, he just wets the bed. It's like It's like, hey, here's this rope.
Why?
Go do
You're
something cool
like
with it. And
3
then he
years
hangs
removed
himself.
from wetting the bed yourself. Like, I mean, that's really only not been a problem for you for like 3 years since you were 7 years
old. You wet
old.
the bed last night. You know what?
I do wet the bed last night, but I'm older. I'm 40, so me wetting the bed is expected.
This is going sideways quickly. Wow.
No, I want
ridiculous.
Kevin King to succeed. I would love nothing more than Kevin King to wear a Green Bay Packers uniform this year and lead the league in interceptions. I would love nothing more than that. But you know what? It ain't going to happen. It's not going to happen. You know what's going to happen? He's going to have a okay to above average somewhere in their regular season like he always does. He produces just where he needs to be. And then when we get to the playoffs, the NFC Championship game, he just he just throws up. Literally, like, hey, Scotty Miller, just run down the field as there's 4 seconds left on the clock. Let Tom Brady throw that wide open Hail Mary to you for 6 extra points. That, might I add, will lose by 5 points, and those 6 points are literally what could have been the separation factor in this game. Might I add that? Or how about the other times where he let Mike Evans just kind of, stiff the arm out, just stick it out, push it on his chest,
What about
and just
the 17 points that they allowed in the second half? Why wasn't that the difference? It was the touchdown in the first half. It wasn't the 17 points they allowed in the second half wasn't the difference?
No, it wasn't because we didn't allow 17 points in the second half. They only scored 26.
Whatever.
I think they only scored one touchdown, 2 touchdowns maybe in the second half, something like that.
Then that one touchdown in the second half, that was the difference?
No, it wasn't, because if we take off that should have been nothing. It's a 50-yard pass, and you have one job. You have one job.
If Aaron Rodgers tucks the ball and runs into the end zone,
he would not have made it.
In the Super Bowl.
He would not have made it. If LaFleur went for it on fourth, we would have. You know what? There's
he had
a lot
better
of
chance of making it than Kevin King did at stopping Scotty Miller.
Yeah, because Kevin King's trash. That's why. Good God.
Once again, Wyatt is playing both sides of the fence. Scotty Miller is trash, but he's going to be rooting for him all season long. So, wow, Wyatt.
You know what? Good for him, though. Like, I've got players on the Cubs.
Okay, hold on.
In the past who I've thought are trash. So, the entire Bears are trash, and I'm rooting for them. I'm rooting for Andy Dalton.
Yeah, exactly. That's how it's your team.
No, you are not. You are not.
Yeah, what are you kidding me?
Of course he is.
Of course I want Andy Dalton. I want Andy Dalton to go 16-0 and prove me wrong next year and win a Super Bowl.
So when I said that last night, you're like, "Oh no, Buck, you were wrong."
You did not remember that last night. Stop it.
I didn't say he was going 16-0, but I said he was going to lead the Bears. I did. I did say that he was going to lead the Bears to the playoffs. But let's go ahead and circle back to Kevin King here. Wyatt, if you don't want Kevin King on your team, what other cornerback that you guys could have signed for $7 million?
Look, I legitimately would rather have this. I'll tell you what. I would rather have this. My popcorn bucket right here. I would rather have this popcorn bucket with the Packers 2014 schedule on it right here at cornerback than Kevin King. You know what, Buck? I can name you 30.
That popcorn bucket has had more camera time than any freaking popcorn bucket ever in the history of popcorn buckets.
I would take Trevor Bauer at cornerback before I took Kevin King ever again.
So you were just complaining about people getting burned and him getting burned and stiff-armed. You don't think like Trevor Bauer would have got burned and stiff-armed?
Trevor Bauer might have got burned and stiff-armed, but you know what? Trevor Bauer is the greatest pitcher of all time, so he would have figured it out.
So
right?
Wyatt, let me ask you a question here. You're telling me Kevin King pukes in the playoffs, right? Kevin King's not a good cornerback in the playoffs.
Yes.
So in the playoffs, if it comes down to a pass on the side of Kevin King that determines the game, do you have faith that Kevin King will come through and get the Packers in the Super Bowl?
Not at all.
So
because
I do.
That opportunity happened.
I think Kevin King is the best cornerback on your team. And I think that Kevin King can. I think Kevin King can absolutely help you guys get to a Super Bowl. So if that comes down to that one play, now this is a big if. It's a huge if. If it comes down to one play by Kevin King, and Kevin King performs, and Kevin King is the reason you guys get to the Super Bowl, we've got to have a shaved head, buddy.
No, I'm not shaving my head. I'll cheer him on, though.
Why?
I'll say, hey,
you say that Kevin King is horrible.
I'll say, hey, great job, Kevin King. You literally puked on us the last 5 years, but you know what? You did one good thing this year, and we're going to the Super Bowl, so I forgive you.
Hey,
I'll tell you what, if Kevin King does that and we go to the Super Bowl and we win, you know what, Combs? You keep on mentioning him doing it in the NFC Championship game, but you're also forgetting that there's one game after that we have to play, and he'll wet the bed in that one. You know, you keep on saying
so how about this? How about if Kevin King's the reason you guys win the Super Bowl? You shave your head.
I'm not shaving my head.
Come on.
Yeah, we have already established.
I don't think you guys understand. I want him to win us the Super Bowl. I would love for Kevin King to win us the Super Bowl. I would love for it to happen. I would.
Wow. You have, man, this guy, I've never, look, we've had Mike LeBlanc on this show, and I thought that guy loved his hair. Nobody loves their hair the way Wyatt Williams loves his hair.
It's malicious locks, man. That's my moneymaker.
Dude, I'm going to find a way. I'm telling you right now. I'm going to find a way. I
promise you right now, you will never find a way to cut my hair.
I promise
unless if you literally come up behind me with a shaver and
I've got
buzz my head.
I've got the cordless shavers. But I'm telling you, whenever you are around me for the rest of your life, anytime that I am next to you, you need to be worried. Because at some point, you're getting something right down the center, so you have to cut it all. It's not even going to be something easy or just a clip. It's going to be right down the center, man.
Right down the center.
How about this, Wyatt? Would you rather have a head full of gray hair or bald?
Gray hair, because I can at least color it and style it.
No, you can't.
Tim Leonard brings up a good point. Tim Leonard says, Wyatt, how are we supposed to value your opinions if you are not confident in your words? No confidence. Did you go to the Stephen A. Smith School of Broadcasting?
I am confident in my words. I'm also confident in
your words. You won't put your hair on the line.
Why would I put my hair on the line? That is simply stupid. There is no win in that. I end up because if I make 1,000 bets, if I make one bet, which you all don't understand, if I make one bet on my hair and it's a given, there's no way I lose it, then that's step one. That's step one. Then you all move to step two. Get me to get a little closer,
came to you?
Little more closer, then a little closer.
What if
eventually, I'm going to shave my head
on this show, and Aaron Rodgers said, "Look, Wyatt,
I will make you a deal right now. If you get Aaron Rodgers on this show, I will shave my head. There you go. If you get Aaron Rodgers on this show,
Tori Anderson calling everything that you have in your power, buddy." I don't care if it's just for 2 seconds on a camera phone on a Man Hour Live. I don't care. He said he's on the show.
It can't be a picture of Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers has to sit on this show and talk with us. That's what he has to do. It has to be Aaron Rodgers. Not a picture of him or anything. It has to be Aaron Rodgers sitting on this show and doing an intervio with me. That's
Tori Anderson says he's on
it. Or just talking with us. Whatever.
Tori Anderson says he's on it.
There you go.
And Wyatt's face just got red.
So speaking of on it, Josh Gordon is still on the drugs, and he is seceding in the FCF and the fan controlled football league. Josh Gordon says he wants to come back to the NFL. Combs, do you see Josh Gordon back in the NFL at all?
No. Josh Gordon has about as much chance coming back in the NFL as we have of Wyatt shaving his head. That's about... Actually, we have a better chance of Wyatt shaving his head than... He's never going to play... He's never going to play in the NFL ever again. I mean, they've just given him too many chances. And look, I'm not a big... I don't really care about the fact that he smokes marijuana. I would let him back in. I would let him play and not worry about the marijuana. It's legal so much and in so many places now that I don't understand why the NFL, who says that they care about their play, don't. And it's been proven to have medicinal value to it. The oils, smoking, it's proven to have medicinal value to it. So I don't understand the whole drawback from them saying, "Hey, I don't want them smoking weed." Now I get it. You don't want these guys high during a game and all that stuff, and I completely understand all of that because whatever the case is, for if your head's not screwed on straight when you're in an NFL game, you could have a really serious injury. I mean, let's just face it. I mean,
or you could be really, really good. Look at Ricky.
Well, yeah, that too. I don't understand it. I don't get. I know Roger Goodell has a God complex. I just don't understand the the whole, anti-marijuana thing, but I don't think that I think that they've given him so many opportunities. I don't understand how they would give him another chance and give him another chance and have people think, that you can take them seriously.
Good. What?
I mean, if they make it, it's simple. Even if they don't make it legal, I still think there's always a chance because, I mean, look at some of the guys that we have in the NFL still, like, to this day, okay? We've got guys like, Deshaun Watson who have, whether if it's true or not, there are 16 accounts of people saying that something happened to them with sexual assault. True or not, nonetheless, the NFL, it seems like, is not really even taking any kind of a look into it. It seems like they're just letting it go kind of as of right now.
Because there's no legal aspect
until
the
legal aspect comes around. Then you've got guys like Vontaze Burfict who have been fined more than they've probably made in the NFL because of dirty and cheap hits. So of course they'll give him another shot. If they've got, do you all realize how many just horrible people,
Ray
professional
Lewis.
athletes that are still that played a career? Do you realize how many horrible people that are in the NFL Hall of Fame? There are horrible people who play pro sports.
I always go back to when we talk about stupid stuff where the NFL doesn't want to allow their players to play. But Ray Lewis, they found a body in the man's trunk. I don't know what else to like. I don't understand all the domestic violence problems that they've had in this league.
Think about it right now. Genuinely, off the top of my head, there are maybe 3 players that have had serious domestic violence issues that actually didn't get back into the league. Ray Rice, Kareem Hunt got right back in, and we had video evidence. The whole world saw it. He kicked that girl. And what's what's so bad about
too?
Well, I get that. Yeah. But he overkilled way by. I mean, he literally shoved her down and then kicked her in the face like 3 times.
You're talking about Ray Rice?
No, Kareem Hunt.
I'm talking about Kareem Hunt.
Yeah, Kareem Hunt.
Now Ray Rice went crazy in the elevator, and that was over nothing. He was just an idiot.
Yeah. But he never played again after that, though.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Ray Rice is the only one I could think of right now that actually didn't play. There might be 2 or 3 more, but that's it. The NFL doesn't.
And I think it was
doesn't take serious matter into that.
Yeah.
Heck, half the time that we find out these NFL athletes are, ridden with CTE and they've been doing all these terrible things, or whenever they get caught by the police. Like, for example, that Seahawks left tackle, he played all last year and he had already done that to her one time before. That was the second time he had done that.
Right. That's the problem you have when you're Roger Goodell. When you say, hey, look, Kareem Hunt, you get a second chance. Kareem, all these people, hey, you guys get to come back and play. You guys get to come back and play. And then you look at Josh Gordon. Oh, no, you smoke weed. Get out of here.
Well, exactly. That's what I'm saying. What is so bad about smoking weed? What is the worst thing a stoner does? Sit on their couch and watch Family Guy?
It's the fact that it's a felony crime.
Stop.
Think about it. What do they do? Cops don't care about high people. They don't. I hate to break that to everybody, but they don't. The stoners just sit on their couch and watch TV. That's all they do. They don't do anything. They just.
It is still a crime, though. It is still a crime to do it. What
Kareem Hunt did was a crime, and he's still in the league.
You could claim self-defense on that. So let's go ahead and circle back to the Ray Rice thing that you said there. Ray Rice was eligible to play back in the league, but no team wanted to pick him up because he was past his prime. So basically, the NFL is a league of what can you do for me? How much money can you make me? And if Josh Gordon can make a team like the Kansas City Chiefs a Super Bowl contender still, he is going to end up on the Chiefs. If he can go to the Packers and make them a Super Bowl contender, he's going to end up on the Packers. If he can go to the Bears and make them not 3-12, he is going to go to the Bears and make them a 4-4.
And isn't it the MLB that said they don't even test anymore, do they, for marijuana?
I believe so. Yes.
It was either the MLB or the NBA. One of those 2 leagues doesn't even test at all.
It's probably the NBA.
I want to say it's baseball. I'll check on that, but I know
the commissioner of the NBA probably smokes with the players before the game.
Yeah.
Adam Silver.
Adam Silver looks like he's always high.
He is on something else, man. I don't know if he's doing some ecstasy or something.
He's goofy.
He is very, very goofy. But let's go ahead and jump up to this last topic before we head to our next break. Wyatt, this is geared towards you. Kansas takes a huge loss last night versus USC. I should say Monday night. It was a 30-point loss. Guys, I am from Kansas. I went to Kansas State University. I dislike the Jayhawks 100%. But I found myself defending them on Twitter, basically saying, they had 3 or 4 players out because of COVID. USC wasn't a bad team, yada, yada, yada. But Wyatt, does Kansas losing to USC last night make the Gonzaga road to the Final Four that much easier now?
I think it does. Real quick, though, I did find this. I don't mean to switch topics on us. Baseball players are allowed to smoke weed. They just cannot be sponsored by any cannabis selling outlet. But back to the point here. I was honest. I was surprised. I didn't think USC had the firepower to make it past week 1. Honestly, I thought they might not, push through. But they pushed through that first one, which I believe they played. Was it Drake? Right? I think they played Drake. The winner of Drake and Wichita State. I didn't know if they'd beat one of those teams. So they pushed through that. They've made it now to the second round. And that was really where I drew the line. I'm like, oh, it's a Big 12 team. So drew the line there, and they've clearly busted through it. I think it just goes to show how bad the NCAA screwed up these rankings, man. It is bad.
I don't think that's it at all, Wyatt. I think it goes back to what we said 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, that there's more parity in college basketball than we've ever seen right now.
Yeah,
there are so many good teams. I said this is going to be the hardest bracket to fill out, and man, my bracket is. I think I've won 26 games. How many games have played? I think I've won like 26 games. That's insane. I usually win that in at least the first weekend. Like the parity in the NCAA March Madness.
It's funny you say that number because that's what I got right.
College, through all the college basketball is unreal.
In the first week.
I did. I got 26 out of 32 games correct. But, and I think the biggest thing that it goes to show is that everybody's sleeping on the West Coast in basketball. I mean,
yeah, we are.
The Pac-12
come on now. The
insane.
Big 10 has a losing record right now in the tournament. The Big 12, I believe, either has a 500 or below record as well.
The Pac-12's undefeated, right?
The Pac-12, I believe, is undefeated at this moment. Maybe one loss. That's it. So I think it just goes to show how hard that everybody, including the NCAA, just slept on the West Coast. They have a lot of really good teams out there. Oregon put down Iowa. What? USC put down Kansas. What? It's crazy. It's awesome to see. And handfully, yes, 20 plus points. Oregon won that game by what? 15, I believe.
Yeah,
over Iowa with Luka Garza, who put up 36 points in that game.
How
and they
about
still
Loyola Chicago?
Exactly, I love
what they did to Illinois. That defense at Loyola Chicago is very underrated. I didn't even know they were the best defense in the nation.
It is the best defense in the country, and after watching them
Their
play 2 games,
defense was ridiculous.
Oh, absolutely! It is the best defense in the country, and after watching them play twice now, there's not even a question about it. I mean, they are by far the best defense in the country.
Do you think they're a legit threat?
Absolutely. I did a second chance bracket today, and I had them in my final. I think they're going. I think they'll play Baylor in the Final Four, but man, their defense is insane.
Creighton looks good too.
But Creighton does look good, but I don't think Creighton beats Gonzaga. I think Gonzaga is just too good, and I think Gonzaga still wins the whole thing.
There was a lot of teams that we thought wouldn't beat a lot of teams, and it's happening.
Exactly. Exactly. No, you're 100% correct, and I just it's crazy. It just goes to show. You're 100% right, Combs. The parity across college basketball right now is uncanny. It's wild. It's on another level. Something that nobody saw. It's like Abilene Christian. Nobody. Be real. Okay, Buck. If you wouldn't have had a friend that was a trainer there, would any of us really know who Abilene Christian was if they wouldn't have went to the tournament this year? Oral Roberts. Did anybody even know who Oral Roberts was before they beat Ohio State?
No, I thought that was a lady who is on 31st Street. I did not know that Oral Roberts was
Jesus. Come on.
It's actually 7th Street.
44-27, Mark Buck.
Yeah. All right, guys. So we are going to take a quick little break here. We are going to talk some more NFL talk. We're going to talk some Sam Darnold, some NFL draft as well, and as well as Cubs opening day starter. Of course, you had the what is coming up. But after the break, we're going to talk a little Hump Day Blues. What teams and players are going to have a bad weekend ahead of us in the NCAA tournament? All that and much more, guys, here on the Man Hour. We'll be right back.
What is up, Man Hour Nation? You saw the graphic there. It is time for some Hump Day Blues with your man, the myth, the legend, the man. I don't know what to. Yeah, exactly. Wyatt Williams here, and Buck and Combs coming on now with me.
Hey, Wyatt.
The man, the myth, the legend.
We are on Big
whatever.
X Radio. They didn't see any graphic, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, if you didn't see the graphic, it's a beautiful graphic. It has my face on it wearing a pair of glasses that are extra shady. So yeah, I'm sorry you missed that. But anyways,
extra shady,
Hump Day Blues,
like Wyatt's take on Kevin King.
extra shady like Wyatt's. Okay.
Wow,
To the point
this
here.
is a left side show all day.
We are going way out of control here. But here we go with the Hump Day Blues. So the Hump Day Blues are my take on some teams or players. I'm kind of sticking with a team theme here for, the bracket, of course, because basketball is really the only sport we have right now, other than, a little bit of, I guess you'd say pro basketball along with college basketball. But sticking with some March Madness here. And with that being said, let's get started. You ready, boys?
We are always ready for your voice.
All right. So, my Hump Day Blues, starting it off, and I hate to do it to them because they've had a great run so far up to this point, but that's going to be Creighton, number 5, the Blue Jays, and I hate to do it to Drew, but man, they're a good team. They're a really good team, and I'm surprised they even made it this far. I thought Ohio was going to knock them off in that last game. I also thought they had a really good chance to get knocked off in the first round, which they almost did to the UC Santa Barbara team, that 12 seed. So they made it through the second game, but I think their luck runs out here because, man, Drew Timme, he does not look like a basketball player, but I'll tell you what, that Drew Timme guy is a basketball player, man. He is a baller, is he not? I love the handlebar mustache too.
Dude, he is unreal. He is. Somebody made a comment the other day on Facebook that said he looks like the uncle in the family is always just trying to get his kids back.
Yes.
I'm out, boys.
But yeah, so I think Creighton finally hits that wall. Drew comes in and says, we're proud of them no matter what. I'll pull up that comment right now. There you see it. We're proud of them no matter what. And yes, you should be proud of them. They had a great run so far. But, man, whoever runs into the Zags is not going to have a good week that week. So Gonzaga moves on in that one, and that is my first team there that is on my Hump Day Blues. Second here, my next Hump Day Blues. As you see the graphic there, I know the radio listeners, you do not. You should definitely check it out. It's a very appealing picture of myself. I look scrumptious.
Oh, my God.
But yeah.
Hang on. Combs, didn't Mike used to say, I love me some me?
Yeah.
We need a t-shirt that says, I love me some me with like Wyatt's silhouette on it.
Oh, I've
Make
got
that
you
happen.
covered. I've got
Make
you
that
covered.
happen.
Wyatt
I
in
love
the
me
toga.
some me. Yeah. Hey, it's true. But next we're moving on. That is going to be the 1 seed. The next 1 seed out is going to be Michigan. Hump Day Blues is swarming you here. Man, LSU had a lead in that last game the whole game. I thought I called the next big upset where an 8 seed knocks off a 1. I'm sitting there on my couch cheering around, and then boom, Michigan comes back, rolls them, and ends up winning it. And I'm like, what just happened? So with that being said, the luck runs out here. Florida State, a team that's playing really well right now. And yeah, they're a good team. They beat a good Colorado team. I think the winner of that Colorado Florida State game either way was going to end up going on here to meet Michigan. The luck runs out with the loss of Livers here. Ever since they lost him, they just haven't been the same team. And like I said, I am surprised they even made it past LSU. So I got them losing here. Florida State is going to advance on that one. Next,
Florida State's a good team.
Yes, Florida State is a good team.
Yep.
My next Hump Day Blues is heading to a sleeper team that nobody had really even exiting, or nobody even had them moving on past that first game that they had against Tennessee. Spoiler alert, that team is Oregon State. Okay, of all the 5-12 upsets, did you guys even see one person saying that Oregon State was going to beat Tennessee? Because
No.
I saw everybody say Georgetown was going to win. I saw everybody say UC Santa Barbara was going to win. Excuse me. And then the other 12 seed, I don't remember. Oh, Winthrop. I saw everybody say Winthrop was going to beat Villanova.
Combs.
But yeah, that's what everybody said that. So, and a lot of people, not just Combs, a lot of people said that.
Yeah.
But Oregon State was one team that nobody ever talked about. So it's even a surprise that they're even here. So once again, another team that's had a good run. They should be proud of themselves for this run. But you are running into Sister Jean. What's that mean? You are out of here, baby. See ya. Bye-bye. Sister Jean and Co. with Loyola Chicago moves on. So next, our fourth team here for Hump Day Blues. Can you guess it, Combs? Can you guess who it is?
I'm guessing you're probably going with Oral Roberts.
Nope, incorrect. It's going to be the other team. It's Arkansas. Arkansas ends their run. Oral Roberts is a crazy good team. Let's be real here. Oral Roberts is legit. I think Oral Roberts should have been like a 9 seed in this tournament. They're good. They are a really good team led by that one guard. His name always skips my mind. I don't remember what it is, but they're led. He's like one of the top scorers in the country. We all should have known about this team, but nobody did because they flew so far under the radar, and they are playing some really good basketball right now. Oral Roberts will be the first 15 seed to ever reach the Elite Eight. Arkansas, Hump Day Blues, baby. You're going down. You almost lost in the first round to Colgate, ended up coming back and taking a significant lead to win it. But hey, you're going down in this one. And next, my final, turn off the phone here. I don't even need to write this one down to remember. My final Hump Day Blues goes to myself. Goes to my fan base of the Green Bay Packers. Goes to my team, the Green Bay Packers. And it goes to my defensive backcourt that just got worse. And that is because the Packers signed Kevin King. So Hump Day Blues number 5 goes to the Wyatt Williams, the Green Bay Packers, the Cheeseheads across America. I'm sorry. I hate this for us, but we get the Hump Day Blues.
Ridiculous, Wyatt. All right, so let's go ahead and bring everybody back on screen here. Wyatt, basically, you said the teams that were going to lose in the Sweet 16 that you basically have going on in your bracket is going to have bad games, basically, right? I feel like all of your picks were kind of homer picks.
Homer picks?
Yeah, you were simply going off what your bracket says.
I chose a 15 seed. I did not have a 15 seed in my bracket.
You should have. I mean, you were the draft expert.
I should have. Everybody should have. Because they're a good team.
So, Combs, do you want to address Wyatt's Hump Day Blues teams any?
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that you feel like Oral Roberts is going to continue this run in the tournament. I don't, you know. But then again, I mean, with everything that's going on,
the crazy upsets.
Yeah, with everything that's going on, I guess we'll see what it is. But you know, hey, to each his own.
Yeah, I mean, like Arkansas is a good team, Wyatt. Like they could probably play like a C game and still beat Oral Roberts.
No, I think they're a hot and cold team in my book. I think they're a team that like, and they're not just hot and cold for games; they're hot and cold for halves. So like, they could have a really good first half and then just like disappear in the second half. That's been the biggest problem I've had for them. If they would have had. So when they played Colgate right out the gate, they were the 3 seed. Colgate was the 14. Mm-hmm. They had a cold first half and a hot second half. If you flip that, Colgate wins that game. I totally think that 100%. If Arkansas wouldn't have had the hot second half, they would have lost that game. I believe Colgate had like a 14-point lead on them at some point, and then Arkansas just kicked it back in. But that's been the story of these SEC teams this year is just the hot and cold difference. You know, Alabama is another one of those teams. If Alabama plays hot, Alabama could win the national title. If Alabama plays cold, they could have lost first round right out the gate to Iona. So it's just the SEC, I think, is really various in this, and Arkansas has been kind of just patchy, spotty all the way through this, and so I just feel like Oral Roberts has been full throttle. Hey, I think before every game they just talk to each other like, hey, we're a 15 seed, we've got nothing to lose. Just keep playing our game, you know, and they're playing their game. They're playing the same way they did in the regular season, and they're beating teams, and they're beating good teams too.
So, Combs, let me answer this question before we head to break. Would you rather be a 3 seed and lose to a 15 seed or a 1 seed lose to a 8 seed?
I'd rather not lose, but I guess I'd rather be a 1 seed and lose to an 8 seed than a 2 to a 15.
Why? What about you?
I agree. Especially, I'd rather be in Illinois' place right now than Arkansas because, Illinois lost to a team that everybody slept on and had no clue was going to, advance like that. So I would much rather be the 1 seed.
All right, guys. So that is Wyatt Williams Hump Day Blues. Teams are just going to have a bad weekend moving forward. Starting Friday night, guys, right? Friday when the tournament Sweet 16 starts.
So.
So
Yes.
so starting Friday, you're going to have a real bad weekend coming into Monday. So we'll take a quick little break, guys. On the other side of the break, we have the world famous What Does. So stay right tuned here on the Man Hour. We'll be right back. And welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buckeyes along with Brandon Combs and Wyatt Williams. If you missed any part of the show whatsoever tonight, you can download the podcast form on iTunes, Spotify, and iHeartRadio, or you can check us out on youtube.com/Man Hour every Sunday through Thursday, 8 p.m. East Coast time, and Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. East Coast time. That's youtube.com/Man Hour. Also, while you're out on the internet, head over to manhourradio.com, become a member over there. The members only starts as little as $3 a month. You get access to the after show footage, 10 p.m. East Coast time on youtube.com/Man Hour. Of course, you get discounts on merchandise, some free merchandise, and access to all the blogs that we have out there as well. Tonight on the after show, we're going to talk pranks. So, guys, get ready for you. What are some of the biggest pranks that you've had done to you, or that you have done to somebody? So,
Did you?
I gotta stay legal.
I mean, we are on the after show, so it is live, raw, and uncut. I mean, there is nothing off limits in the after show.
Hot Mike is never.
Did you guys see Corey's tweet yet?
No.
He added Aaron Rodgers. He said, at Aaron Rodgers 12. This is me shooting my shot. Aaron, if you see this, is this a non-Wisconsinite ultimate fan at Wyatt Williams would love for you to be on their podcast. If you do it for even 1 minute, he must shave his head. Can we make this happen? ? Oh,
that
God.
is amazing.
Hey,
I retweeted it.
Retweeted it. Yeah, I retweeted it too. So you guys can follow us on Twitter at manhour_TWW, manhour_Combs. You want to follow Combs, and of course manhour Buck. You want to follow me as well.
I have to step up my game, man. My Twitter game has been horrible.
Yeah, it hasn't been great. It's kind of been like the Bears off. It's kind of been like the Bears off season. Not very great. But are you guys ready to start the world famous What Does?
I am
got some stuff
beyond ready.
Who wants to go first?
Give me this. Give me the floor. Give me the floor.
All right, Wyatt's going last. Combs, you're up first. No, okay. Wyatt, you go first here on the like on the what does. All right, are you ready? Let's do it.
I've been ready since earlier this morning. That's what I'm going to talk about. Okay, my first what the. We all knew where this was going to go. Everybody knew. Okay, the Green Bay Packers decided to sign someone who single-handedly lost us the NFC Championship game, robbed us of the Super Bowl trophy, robbed us of a shot at the Super Bowl, completely just threw up, let Scotty Miller run freely down the right side and go up, just catch a ball and bring it in, and then they got a touchdown off that right at the end of the half. Not mentioning any other 17 times that he let any other player on the Buccaneers just bully him. You know, that's what he does. He lets these guys bully him. See, right there, that graphic would have never been made if Kevin King would have had better coverage in that game. But you know what? The Packers re-signed him. You know, I can't. Right there, you see it. UFC 261, King versus Williams. I already signed. We're waiting on you, Kevin. Okay, Dana White's involved. Just sign the card. Sign the card,
we need
man.
Another tweet. All right, so Wyatt got his what out of the way and went off on one of his teams and got everybody drunk because he talked about the Packers all day long. So I'm about to talk about one of my home teams. Jesus Camargo Corrales, minor leaguer for the Chicago Cubs, gets arrested in Colorado after swerving in and out of lanes and speeding, allows police officers to search. Says, yeah, sure, go ahead, search. They find 21 pounds of meth. I'm reading the story right here. Cubs minor leaguer pitcher Jesus Camargo was arrested Friday on felony drug charges stemming from a traffic stop in Colorado. Inside, they found a Cubs duffel bag filled with baseball equipment. Police also discovered a bag doused in essential oils containing $1,000 in cash, 21 pounds of suspected meth, and 1.2 pounds of suspected oxycodone pills. I don't know what it is you were doing that you thought 21 pounds of meth was all right, and I don't know what drug cartel you are about to get murdered by in prison for getting caught with this 21 pounds of suspected meth. But Jesus Camargo Corrales, you just threw your career down the drain, and you get the what the.
And my first what the other night is going to go out to internet providers out here in southern Indiana. People out in the Floyd Knobs area. You guys don't have internet service at all at your like at your house. So you have to use internet off of hotspots. And so when you are doing internet, broadcasting off of your hotspot, sometimes your phone freezes and your voice keeps going, but your video freezes.
Hashtag Wyatt Williams.
Hashtag Wyatt Williams. And then when you try to come back into the man hour, you put yourself in the middle of Brandon Combs' what the segment. You are not the producer of the show, Wyatt. I am the producer. I will add you when I'm good and ready to add you back onto the show. So my next what the is going to go out to the internet providers. Guys, get the internet out to these rich folk. The rich folk out on Floyd Knobs Hills, get some internet out there. I mean, Wyatt will flip the bill. He will even keep his hair for you because, those luscious locks make all that money. And then Wyatt, don't ever add yourself into the show when Brandon Combs is doing a what the. Wyatt, you get the what the, man.
How you can afford mates but not internet? I don't get.
Okay. Sorry, Buck. Okay. So, my next what the goes out to my bracket. Okay.
How do you
doing
like
so
it?
good. Okay, my next what the goes out to Combs, who just threw himself out in the middle of the show. Buck, you could do what on Combs though. No, my next what that goes in my bracket, okay? I'm leading in all my bracket pools, and then all of a sudden, every team that I had in the Final Four decides to just lose. Like, it was terrible. It was so bad.
Because you made bad picks.
My bracket. You know what, Combs? You are the one bracket in the man-hour crew under me. I would not speak right now.
I've still got a team in my finals available.
Yeah, my champion's still available. That's it. Okay, because everybody else died. I don't know what happened. Kofi Coburn decided that he didn't know what basketball was anymore. Cade Cunningham decided that he wasn't a star anymore. And, Ohio State decided to lose to a 15 seed. My Final Four just
you forgot about
everywhere.
Luka Garza.
Yeah, and Luka Garza, even better. Luka Garza, it's not even Luka's fault. It's everybody else on that team. Luka put up 36 points in that game. Nothing else he could have done. So, yeah, my next what that goes up to my bracket.
My next what the is also going to be bracket related. My next what the goes out to the Big Ten. We talked on this show for about a week and a half about how good the Big Ten was. The Big Ten was a power conference. The Big Ten is going to run this tournament. How many Big Ten teams do you have in your Final Four? How many Big Ten teams do you have in your Elite Eight? I don't even think the Big Ten has a team left in it. I don't know what is going on in the Big Ten. The Pac-12 is freaking running everything. The Big Ten is done. I don't understand what is going on in college basketball. The parity is insane. The amount of losses and the teams you're losing to is even worse. So Big Ten, you get the what the.
My next what the is going to go out to the NBA team that is tanking. I should air quote that. Tanking to get the highest lottery balls into the bucket and whatever. The Houston Rockets. You guys lost 20 straight games at an NBA level. I don't care if you have the worst talent of NBA players. There's no way you should be losing 20 straight games in the NBA. And then for your coach to like come on press conference like after you guys finally win a game, oh my guys are working so hard, the ball is just not bouncing like our way a few times. Get out of here with that talk. The only reason why you're coming out and saying that is because you are getting fired because your tank job failed. You are worse at tanking than the New York Jets are at tanking. I mean, the New York Jets could have Trevor Lawrence right now if they just would have tanked all season. So Houston Rockets, you guys are going to get the what the for not being able to tank correctly. Congratulations.
They don't want
to you guys.
Trevor Lawrence. They got him down.
My next what that goes out to the NCAA, who decided to release a statement just a few hours ago saying that Oral Roberts should have been a 7 or lower seed. Really? Are you sure about that? Do you really think they should have been a 7 or lower seed? No crap. They should have been a 7 or lower seed. Mind-boggling. I spoke so highly of the NCAA. Hey, they figured out this COVID thing, how to deal with it for basketball. They screwed up football, but they've done good in basketball. No, they screwed up both. NCAA, you get the what the.
My next what the is going to go out to @manhour_TWW. I'm watching the show yesterday, and I'm watching, you guys do your thing, and I'm like, all right, man, I miss these guys. I really want to talk. Buck's talking sports. Buck's got some good points. Push them. And what do I look and see? Wyatt Williams blowing up a beach ball. In the middle of the show, Wyatt Williams just like, oh, hey, beach ball. You are like, I swear, you are just like a somebody with ADD or something who they see a butterfly while they're in mid-sentence and all of a sudden they start following the butterfly. Like, I don't understand what you are doing, but blowing up a freaking beach ball in the middle of the show while we're talking sports is not it. So, Wyatt, you've got the what the.
middle school coach told me I had the attention span of a gnat.
And before we go on to my next What the Why, I'm going to bring you on screen and give you a chance to defend yourself. Why were you blowing up a beach ball in the middle of the show?
I don't know, because...
We don't really care why you're blowing up a beach ball. You're not supposed to do that in the middle of a show, Wyatt. So my next What the is going to go out to Wyatt Williams. Yes, man. Wyatt, we are doubling up on you tonight. This is my second one at you. Heck, I got 3 or 4 more coming at you if you really, really want it. When we were pre-show, why I told you my joke about the coronavirus and Combs and what I was going to say. Right, this was an alcoholic joke. I said least Combs can have a lime now. The joke went completely over your head. Combs is rolling like I could feel Combs laughing over in Chicago, 6 hours like away. My wife was even laughing.
Sneezing, you got the COVID from him.
Clearly I don't. I have allergies as I'm not dying right here. But Wyatt, I told you my joke beforehand. I don't make very good jokes sometimes. My wife tells me that I have the worst sense of humor ever. But when I set you up like that, you got to run with it, Wyatt. Come on, man. Be 22. What the?
His defense, he's only 12. He doesn't know what beer is.
My next What the goes out to the Washington football team, who claims that their generic overcast name is going to be a forever thing now. They have decided that they are going to stick with football team. They're going to be called the football team. So now that's going to lead into other people's being called the football team, the baseball team, the basketball team. Ridiculous. They're going to be called the football team. You of all of the names you could have come up with, of everyone, the monuments, the presidents, the waterfalls, anything you can come up with. You come up with football team? Are you kidding me? You get the what the? Jeez.
All right, so let me bring you guys back on screen. You know what I would have done if the Washington football team is an atrocious name. You know what I would have done to stick it to everybody if I was the owner of the Washington Redskins? I would have taken that Redskins logo, the old Indian head, and I would have taken it out, and I would have made it just the silhouette still there. And I would have been the Washington Silhouettes. That's what I would have done, just to stick it to everybody there. That's exactly what I would have done. But let me get to my last What the. My last What the is going out to Wyatt Williams.
Oh my God! You're both doubling down on me.
Wyatt? Every time you have a point, you make an argument, you say, "Oh, this is it, and this is facts, and I stand. This is exactly how it's gonna be. I know what I'm talking about. I can't put my hair on it though. I can't bet my hair. Not the luscious locks. Not the money makers. Really, they're the money makers." If they're the money makers, then buy some damn internet. Wyatt, you get the what the.
If you guys have been following the Man Hour for a while here, I've had some pretty good what-das about Walmart and Target and with some black bags and whatnot. like if you guys are curious, you know, they're out there on youtube.com/Man Hour. Just click on the clips and they're all right there. Well, Monday night I went and got my taxes done, and you know, with like much people like in the world, like I was laid off for a few months and collect unemployment, yada yada yada, and so our income this year was down than previous years, and basically once the whole COVID thing hit, like me and Cindy really started to like nickel and dime because we didn't know what was happening. Right, I was laid off of work. You know, we are doing expenses like, you know, hey, we're doing groceries for this, and this, right? And I had my receipts from Walmart and Target and the stores just like that. And on this particular receipt, I put black bags on it. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, go back to the Man Hour, youtube.com/man hour, and look at the black bag what does clips. So I had to explain to our tax agent what the black bags meant. Like, it was a cue for me for the what does, so I could explain the story. And so I told him the story. And let me bring you guys on camera. Combs, you've been married. Wyatt, you got a girlfriend. When your other half looks at you, like, out of the corner of the eye, and like it starts doing the head nod, and you are supposed to stop saying the story and just like move on. Well, yeah. I gain energy from that when she's like, "Don't do it." I'm like, "Man, I had the back flags all." So my what the other night is going to go out to myself. When I get that look from my other half saying, "Stop it, Buck, do not get excited. Do not start clapping the hands and start doing the hand motions, whatever," right? Man, I slept on the couch last night, boys. What the?
Is it comfy?
It is. All right, guys, so that's going to be it for the What Does of the Night. That happens every Wednesday here on the Big Guy Sports Radio. Well, apparently Wyatt has one more. So the next What The goes out to Wyatt Williams. As I say, this is the final What The of the night. That means we're wrapping it up. But hey, go ahead, Wyatt. You get the next one. Go ahead.
It's all right. We don't have commercial breaks or bills to pay. It's all right. Yeah. Go ahead.
Go to commercial break. Whatever.
No. You get the What The.
Okay,
come on,
fine.
Kevin King.
I'll go quick. So we were driving around in downtown Louisville.
Actually, Wyatt, we are going to break, man. So we are going to go ahead and get the next break, guys. So Evan, on the other side of the Man Hour, we are going to talk some NFL sports here. We'll be right back, guys, here on the Man Hour. And welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buckeyes along with Brandon Combs and Wyatt Williams. So let's go ahead and bring the boys back onto the screen here. If you guys missed any part of the show whatsoever, you can download the podcast from iTunes, Spotify, and iHeartRadio as well. Let's go ahead and welcome Wyatt back on the show.
Did you see that the Philadelphia Eagles signed Joe Flacco?
Yeah, we did see that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that was early Tuesday morning, right, when they officially signed him?
I thought it was just happened about an hour ago.
Oh, well so like I know Joe Flacco went to visit the Detroit Lions and the Philadelphia Eagles, but the Eagles were were the ideal landing spot for him. So yeah, I mean, like, that's a good backup insurance. I mean, you have a Super Bowl winning.
Is he the backup or is he the starter?
No, I'm sure the Eagles will fumble it around. I'm sure that Jalen will probably start 6 games. Flacco will probably start 6, and then the final, ending of the season, I'm sure will go to like, their kicker maybe. I don't know.
You're not sending Flacco to be your backup, are you?
Yeah, you are.
So.
I mean, the Jets did.
So.
I mean, the Jets signed him to be a backup, and
Broncos
he served
did
a
too.
very, very well backup. So, but
Yeah, I don't.
He's a good leader.
he's a good backup.
Yeah.
Had a good
I
Super
mean,
Bowl run.
probably a good somebody good for Jalen Hurts to learn from.
Yeah,
For sure.
And what Joe Flacco's probably 35, 36 years old, right?
He's up there.
Yeah, so he has been around the league, and so like he knows that he doesn't have a lot left in the league, and what better way to live on through the league is to live through somebody else, passing that knowledge down to somebody else, right? So like I
Right.
think Hurts would be, a sponge, just soaking up that
Yeah,
knowledge from
Flacco.
Joe Flacco.
Flacco's 36.
Yeah. So before we headed to break there, you were going to tell us a story about driving downtown Louisville. We promise we won't meet you this time. This is actually a really good story. So you get the final what the of the night, man.
So
Do you feel bad, Buck?
No, I don't. I don't ever feel bad about my actions whatsoever.
Oh, okay.
So, all right, Wyatt.
would you feel bad if I muted him now?
No,
Oh, okay.
we're not Wyatt.
Go ahead, Wyatt.
Go ahead.
So we're driving around downtown Louisville.
So Wyatt, the
headed-
what the segment is now over. So we're going to move on to the NFL talk here. So with that being said, Joe Flacco has signed with the Philadelphia Eagles. And basically, guys, the general manager come out and said late last week that that basically the general manager and coach staff is not sold on Hurts. So, Combs, I'm gonna let you collect yourself here. Why you are like staring at me with that death ray, man? And I understand that I got you twice in one night, and normally we only get you once. But with that being said, is there going to be a quarterback controversy in Philadelphia this season? Those are some great insights from Wyatt Williams.
I don't want to get muted.
So I'm going to go ahead and go first here. And, I've collected my thoughts. I don't think there's going to be a quarterback controversy at all. I think that Joe Flacco coming there is actually a good thing for Jalen Hurts. I think that unless there is an injury or a very poor performance from Jalen Hurts, I don't think Joe Flacco is going to see the field. And I think that's a good thing. Like, I think Joe Flacco knows where he's at in his career, like you said just a minute ago, Buck. I feel like Joe Flacco is that guy who is happy to bring a young kid up in the NFL, so to speak. I think he's one of those types of figures that knows how to coach, and I think that's actually his future in the NFL. I think I could see Joe Flacco being a quarterback's coach in the NFL.
What were your thoughts?
Yep. No, I'm just kidding. No.
He's just here so he doesn't get fined.
Yeah, I'm just here so I don't get fined. No, I think it's a decent pickup for the Eagles. They're bringing him in as a backup, a guy that can kind of, I guess, give the ropes in a way to Jalen Hurts. I don't know necessarily that was the correct option on that. I think if they were really going to do that and they wanted a vet that can really teach, I think you want to go after Ryan Fitzpatrick more likely a couple of weeks ago if you're really looking at just bringing in a veteran to sit behind somebody. So, but also I kind of understand that Fitzpatrick doesn't want to sit behind somebody. He wants to go somewhere and play. So Alex Smith even could be somebody you bring in. Joe Flacco's all right, but just, if I'm going to have somebody learn, why do I want them to learn from Joe Flacco? Do I want them to learn how to have one good playoff push and then just kind of disappear and fizzle into the night? Like, is that it? I don't think I want them to learn that necessarily. I would more rather go after somebody like, Alex Smith is a really smart football guy. He was, while he was a starter, he's done a lot of really good things out in San Francisco, did some good stuff in Kansas City, and also, with Washington. Mental toughness is there. He's got the football smarts. He can also go out there and play if he needs to. I don't know if Joe Flacco is there on all those levels, at least not, to the point to where Alex Smith is. So I get them going after a veteran backup to kind of sit behind Hurts, but I don't get this veteran backup. You know what I mean? Like, I get the move, but I don't get the person they got.
So besides Alex Smith, because I think Alex Smith wants to be a starter in the NFL because I think he has something to prove that, hey, the Washington football team messed up by releasing me. So if you are looking for a veteran quarterback to sit behind Hurts moving forward, what other veteran quarterback that is out there that you could possibly have?
I think Flacco was that's why I think Flacco was the right choice, because I think that any other veteran guy that's out there right now is coming in because he wants to start.
Right.
Whether it's Fitzpatrick has a place already, but I mean there are guys out there that are available, but they want a chance to start. They want to compete. And I think Joe Flacco is one of the very few that you can say, hey, look, you're coming in and you're going to be the backup and you're going to bring this kid along and we need you to teach him the ways. And
he's been on backup on two other teams, on the Broncos and the Jets now. So good, right. Wyatt.
Well, and if I had to, think of somebody, if you're really going after somebody like that, you shouldn't be doing it now, I don't think. I mean, I think you've let all the guys go. Mike Glennon is a really good person, I think, to stick behind and sit as a backup. I mean, I think he's better than Joe Flacco. Mike Glennon's
never won a World Series, a Super Bowl.
Yeah. No, you're 100% correct.
Rings speak loudly in locker rooms.
Yeah, I mean, that's experience that you just can't teach.
Yeah. Good, Wyatt.
Yeah, but I mean, he got that ring off of really good pieces that were around him, and I'm not taking anything away from Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco had a heck of a run in the playoffs. Joe Flacco played outstanding to get them to that point. So I'm not trying to take anything away from Joe Flacco whatsoever, but I just feel like there are younger and better options necessarily than Joe Flacco to go sit behind, because I don't know, like Joe Flacco's all right, but he's not, he's not the most football smart guy out there. He's not the, never really made a huge impact other than the 1 or 2 years he was good. Which I mean, the same could follow for Mike Glennon as well. Maybe I could see like a guy like Josh McCown, a storied backup across the entire league. He's been everywhere. He's been in Philadelphia. He knows the system. So if you're looking for that veteran backup that knows the system and is football smart, what more better than Josh McCown, who's been there? Why would you release him? It's just kind of, it's like the Eagles are just making moves, bringing on guys. It seems like that they cut better options for. You know what I mean? They're cutting the better options to bring on less options.
Right. So at the quarterback option, are you saying that Carson Wentz was a better option than Jalen Hurts in Philly?
Oh, I think Carson Wentz was a better option than Jalen Hurts. I think Josh McCown was a better option than Joe Flacco. They already had Josh McCown on roster, but got rid of him. So I just think that they Philadelphia Eagles, just enjoy to do that. They've done it a lot. They get rid of guys like Michael Kendricks on defense to replace them with average to below average linebackers on the other side of the ball. It's just a pure Philly move.
So let me address your Joe Flacco comment there. Yes, Joe Flacco only peaked for 3 or 4 years, right? But he did win a Super Bowl. He signed a mega deal. But when he signed that mega deal, he was pretty good the next 2 seasons after that. But then the money aspect that he signed caught up with the Baltimore Ravens, and they couldn't put any pieces around him to sustain that success. Plus, I think Harbaugh is a really overrated coach as well. So Combs,
I like Harbaugh.
Do
you?
I like John.
You think John
John's
Harbaugh's
a good coach.
overrated?
Yeah, I do.
Ooh.
Why?
His brother's overrated. I don't think
Jim Harbaugh is overrated. Yes,
because without a solid defense and I would put Joe Flacco as a above average quarterback. He is not elite, but he is not good either. Like he's
I don't
kind
think
of
he's above average anymore, though.
Well, no.
Really do?
I am talking about the 2000 Joe Flacco. Right. So when he won that Super Bowl, and then and then those couple years after that, Harbaugh should have been constructing a team around him to have massive success, and he couldn't do that. That's why I think he is overrated. If you look at the Kansas City Chiefs for example, or the Chargers, or even the Bucks, they have built their teams through the drafts. That is what you have to do in the NFL. You have to build your teams through the drafts, and then you add some pieces in free agency.
Good for the entire tenure of John Harbaugh. I don't know how you could say John Harbaugh's overrated.
What do you consider
John
good
Harbaugh.
though? Like, what do you consider good? Like,
They're a playoff team
Super
every
Bowl
year.
coach,
Sick.
playoff team every
Yeah,
year.
they've been to
They have,
exactly.
they're a team that could win on any given Sunday all the time.
Won a Super Bowl.
Since Joe Flacco's Super Bowl championship, what I forget what year it is, they have won one playoff game since then.
So then,
One.
do you think that God, I'm gonna forget his name right now. The head coach of Pittsburgh. You think he's overrated?
Tomlin?
Yeah.
No,
he's
because
about in the same boat,
same
isn't
situation.
he? I mean,
Doesn't Tomlin have 2 Super Bowl rings though? And they win playoff games. You know, they're kind of like the Packers. They lose in the championship game, like a lot of feel.
yeah, but I don't think I wouldn't
know,
say. I mean,
not in a
think
while. The
Harbaugh's
last time
overrated.
they were in an AFC championship was whenever Pittsburgh played. God, I don't remember the last time they were in an AFC championship game because
I don't have the numbers in front of me.
before Peyton Manning retired, I think was the last time.
Well, Peyton Manning retired
Manning-
only five years ago. So
Well, yeah, that was 2015. That was 2 years before. I mean, that was 6 years ago. That was 2 years before the Ravens Super Bowl. So we're only 2 years off each other here.
I don't know. I mean, but like,
And Pittsburgh hasn't won a Super Bowl since 2009?
sounds about right. 2008,
Yeah, because
2009,
Packers won in 2010, right?
Right.
Packers won
Yeah,
2010.
so
they won
they-
two. Yeah. They haven't done anything significant since
They were in the
2009.
AFC title game in 2016. They lost to the Patriots.
The most significant thing that
Or,
Mike
sorry,
Tomlin has done
2017.
the most significant thing that Mike Tomlin's done since he won his last Super Bowl was step in front of Jacoby Jones, or is that Jones?
Yeah.
Jacob Jacob? What was it? That returner and tripped him.
Yeah, they won the Super
Jacoby
Bowl
Jones?
in 2008, 2010.
What was his name?
And they've been to the playoffs pretty much every year since then, with the exception of 2012, 2018, 2019.
So, guys, let's look at John Harbaugh's record here.
Yeah, it was Jacoby Jones. I thought that was his name.
So, I did not realize that he has only had one losing season at the Ravens, and that was 2015 when they had 5-11. They did win the Super
He's
Bowl in
had less
2012.
losing
Yeah.
seasons than Tomlin has.
Yeah, but like with that all with all
Think
that
about this. Think
regular
about this. You ready? Think about this. Really, if the Ravens have a winning season this year, and Belichick has a losing season next year, coming up, then Harbaugh will have been technically more. Will have less losing seasons than Bill Belichick has in the last 10 years.
which, you know, that is all great for regular season accolades, but where do we measure success in the postseason, right?
It's hard to measure success whenever you have a guy like Tom Brady, who's the GOAT, literally throttling everybody on both sides of the bracket every single year.
Well, I'm not talking about the Patriots or Tom Brady here, so go ahead and start blowing up your beach ball here. But like since 2012, one playoff win is just not. It's just not that good, Wyatt. I mean, like if you look at playoff wins before the Super Bowl, they had 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 playoff wins previously to the Super Bowl there, and then since then he's had one. So that is a tough, you know, like why are you not having success in the playoffs anymore?
Well, I mean, again,
You don't have
you're not
Ray
having
Lewis,
success
Ed
in the playoffs
Reed.
because you're running up against teams like the New England Patriots every year. You're running up against teams now
That's why I
like
mentioned
the Kansas
Tom
City
Brady.
Chiefs every year. You're running into, you Buffalo Bills now every, like, you've got really elite teams in the AFC. The AFC's been stacked for a while, mostly with the New England Patriots over the last, 20 years. But
Right.
the AFC is stacked. It's hard to win in the AFC. I think John Harbaugh has done a great job of getting them to division titles, getting them to the playoffs. And then, look, at that point, you're playing the elite of the elite. Once you get to the playoffs, you're playing the best teams in the playoffs.
Right. So just to add to some stats here, Mike Tomlin has 8 playoff wins since 2012, and John Harbaugh has 1. So
Yeah. I get it. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
But he
Maybe
also has
overrated
less
was the
losing
wrong word.
seasons, and he's got more playoff appearances than Tomlin since then.
Mike Tomlin has no losing seasons.
What are you talking about? They had a losing season in 2019.
8-8, not losing season.
Oh, were they? What were they in 2018?
9-6 and 1.
Okay.
Yes, the worst record he has had since his 10 years started in 2007 was 8-8. He had an 8-8 record in 2012, 8-8 record in 2013, and an 8-8 in 2019. Previously,
he's
before
a phenomenal coach, man. I love Mike Tomlin.
Yeah.
You know who else has no losing seasons ever since their Super Bowl? Aaron Rodgers.
So why?
You know what else he has none of since his Super Bowl appearances?
How many did the Bears have in that time?
1.
Never mind. Go ahead.
So why you rabbled off a stat here that in the last 10 years, if Bill Belichick would have a losing season this year and John Harbaugh would win, he would have more winning record or more winning season. Mike Tomlin has no losing seasons. Like Mike Tomlin probably has more winning seasons than Bill Belichick right now.
He does.
Yeah.
He has more winning seasons. Probably not more wins, but more winning seasons. Absolutely. I can see that. Because, I mean, we got to look at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh has always played in the easiest division in football. The Bengals, the Browns. What do you mean, whoa? The two worst
Bill
teams.
Belichick has never had a winning record without Tom Brady.
Are you telling me that the AFC North was weaker than the AFC East?
Absolutely.
Over the last 10 years. You are out of your mind.
Yeah. You're
the Bills
crazy.
have been a playoffs team a couple of years. The
Twice.
The Jets with Mark Sanchez went to the AFC Championship. What have the Bengals and the Browns done?
Habitual 8-8 records.
And then the Dolphins have had one or two good seasons, and they're the season with Jay Ajayi and Ryan Tannehill.
A couple years with Carson Palmer and the boys, like they were a playoff team.
Carson Palmer was over 10 years ago, though. We're just talking about the last 10 years.
Yeah.
With like Andy Dalton, they had what? One good season in Cincinnati. They had no good seasons in Cleveland before this year. It was always 0-16, 1-15. Then the Bengals followed that up every year with a solid 4-12, and then you had the Ravens who were good every other year. So Pittsburgh's had the easiest route always. They literally play Pittsburgh. The joke has always been Pittsburgh gets 5 bye weeks. They get 1 bye week and 2 weeks where they play the Bengals and 2 weeks where they play the Browns.
Yeah.
So
but
just
you know what what have the Dolphins been, and what have the Jets been, and what have the Bills been? They've been.
Bill Belichick has always struggled. Bill Belichick has always struggled playing in Miami. That is a fact. He loses constantly in Miami to teams that he shouldn't lose to.
Yeah,
and Miami's had some good teams.
In Miami.
But also Miami's had a couple of good years. I mean, Miami with when Ryan Tannehill and Jay Ajayi were there, they were a good team. Then you look at
the year where the Jets beat them in the playoffs too.
Yeah, and the Jets, Mark Sanchez has the greatest rookie season of all time. You can say whatever you want about the rest of his career with the butt fumble and stuff, but statistically, for everything he's done, he beat Manning and Brady in the playoffs. Like, what?
Right.
Like who?
Yeah.
So and then you look at the Bills, and the Bills have always had a good defense and an average offense, and they would always
they've been good for the last 3 or 4 years. They weren't good before that though.
Yeah, well, they were. I mean, they weren't the worst team in the league though. The Browns have always been the worst team in the league for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
But there is something
you
about
can make an
divisional
argument
games
for it
too,
for
though.
sure. That's a good argument.
Yeah, I mean, like I feel like that is something that we really need to sit down and do some like stats, like just like on and see
the
what
worst division over the last 10 years. What's the worst division?
Right. Yeah,
it's a toss up between those two. It's either the AFC East or the AFC North, but
the Bears. The Bears have been the worst division by themselves over the last 10 years.
No, so why it is funny that you said that those are probably the worst two divisions, but we are probably overlooking the NFC West. I mean, the Cardinals weren't very good. The 49ers weren't very good.
Well, I mean, Seattle's always been good. The Niners have always been good. The Niners just would like. The Niners would be good for like 3 years, then be bad for a year.
They just went to a Super Bowl,
and then they'd be good for 3 years.
7 years ago, right?
No, they went 2 years ago against the Chiefs.
2 years ago. Yeah, that's right.
and then they win against the Ravens. So they've always been good. The NFC West has been okay. The Rams have had some good years.
Right.
Seattle has been really good over the last 10 years. Seattle has been to 2 Super Bowls, won one, and then the Cardinals have been good. The Cardinals played against the Steelers in the Super Bowl a couple years back. Then in 2015, the Cardinals lost to Cam Newton in the playoffs.
Oh, they lost the Steelers
in 2015.
Yeah,
but the NFC East is the one I would say is probably the worst NFC division. No, maybe the South, because the South has Tampa Bay and it's got the Falcons, and then the Panthers have only had really one good year.
The
Panthers
North has
had
been
2 good
pretty
years.
bad. I mean, it's just been basically run by the Packers, and then everybody else is fighting for second.
Well,
Right,
and then the Lions are 2 to 3 wins every year, right? So that definitely brings it
something like
down.
that. The Lions have had like one good year when they went to the playoffs, and then they literally
black
got
and blue division.
crapped
They
on.
always that's the one division. The NFC North is the one division where when you look at their division schedule, you never pick a sweep,
Right.
because you always feel like somebody in that division, no matter how bad or how good they are, is going to beat one of the other teams. Like,
Oh, absolutely.
it's just
I think-
that the NFC North is really, really good, actually.
Yeah.
As much as
I mean, you got the Vikings, who are always a 10-win team. You got the Bears, who are always around that 8 to 9 win, and then you've got the Lions, who are always in that 5-ish, 6-ish win or lower. But when you look at the division, it normally wraps up that like the Packers normally lose 1 game to the Vikings, sometimes 2, and then the Packers always lose at least 1 game to the Bears or the Lions. Always.
Hey, Buck,
So-
out of curiosity, who did you
Yep.
pick last year to win the NFC North?
It was the Detroit Lions at 10-6.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What did you have the Packers going?
They were 10-6 at 10-6 as
I
well.
had the
but
Packers having a down year last year too. I thought
Yeah.
that the draft of Love, I thought that was going to make it so that Aaron Rodgers wanted out. So I thought he was going to have a down year. I was absolutely positively incorrect. He does what Aaron Rodgers always does, and he just wins.
I actually called that,
But
because I literally told all my friends.
I just thought he was going to have a bad year. I thought it was an out on a limb type call. But I
had
went out on a limb.
I had a lot of speculation with it, but all my friends were dogging me on that. They're like, "Oh, Packers finally going down." I have friends that are Bears fans. I have a Lions fan that's a friend, and then a Vikings fan. And man, they were hard after me the whole year. They're like,
And I'll never
"Man, we're
forget-
finally taking over the North." And then I
I'll
was like,
never
"Dude, I'm telling
forget
you."
Buck and LeBlanc were on the man hour by themselves, and I chimed in on a comment and said the Bears are going to win the division at 11-5. And LeBlanc went off and made me call into the show and talk to him about why I thought the Bears are going to go 11-5. And then when the Bears started out the season 5-1, man, I was all in my glory. I'm like, yeah, everybody talking crap, and then it happened.
I remember. Do you remember what I said to you, Combs? They were the worst 5-1 team that I have ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah, I was going off every week on our boys over there at Twist because they didn't have them in the power rankings and it was
No, hey, and then the 1 week Benz bumped them up to 7 or 8, right?
They lost.
They
were
5 or 6
5-1.
games in a row.
Yeah.
it was
Trubisky came out, man.
yeah, basically.
No, Trubisky came out and they came back and won that game against the Falcons. They won 2 more after that, and then it went downhill.
You beat the single-handedly worst team in the world to play with a lead. Congratulations.
Yeah, it was.
No, you want to talk
it was
about
horrible.
you want to talk about terrible divisions and stuff. How about the Falcons literally being if I was a Falcons fan, I would be happier if we were losing than winning.
They were a perennial playoff team. They were winning that division year after year after year until about maybe 3-4 years ago.
And
Until
the
they
Saints
got
just
beaten
took
at
back
Super
over.
Bowl, that's when it all went downhill for them.
It blew
when they
up,
lost
went
that
into
lead
flames.
in the Super Bowl. But before that, I mean, they were a perennial. They were winning the NFC South every year. They were in the playoffs. Yep. I mean, they've been a good team for a long time. They were a good team in the '90s too, man. Deion Sanders and them boys, man. The Falcons were a force, man. They've been a good team for a long time.
Do you remember the backfield of Warwick Dunn, Mike Allstott, and Vic?
Yes,
Those guys were
fun fact about Mike Allstott.
ridiculous. That 2002
with his
Madden,
nephew.
that
I go
was
to
my
school with his
stuff,
nephew.
man. 2002 Madden, I would not choose anybody but the Falcons because I would just take Michael Vick and just quarterback option all day long. That's all I would do.
Is Mike Vick in that 02 edition of Madden the greatest video game player of all time? Or is it Bo Jackson maybe in Tecmo Bowl? Or is it
I don't
Steph
know,
Curry
man.
in 2016 2K?
Because
are the top
video
three for
games
me.
have evolved so much, Like, I would almost, and I'm telling you right now, man, I play a lot of 2021 Madden. I tear people up with the Arizona Cardinals right now. Like, I made a guy, I texted Wyatt earlier. I made a guy quit on 3 plays
Three
today.
plays. That is crazy. I will give you that.
There was the kickoff, and then I ran the ball and on the first play and scored. And then he made his first play. He threw a pass. I picked it off for 6, and he quit.
Jeez.
It was the fastest game of Madden I've ever played in my life.
All right.
Technically,
So guys,
2 plays.
Yeah, technically 2 plays, right? So guys, we are up against a break here. So let's go ahead and take our final break here. But before we head there, Wyatt, the San Francisco 49ers record in the last since 2014, 8-8, 5-11, 2-14, 6-10, 4-12, and then 3-13. Not very good. Just FYI.
What? That's the Niners?
That's the Niners.
Wow, I didn't know that.
We'll be right back here, guys, on the Man Hour. Shop Talk coming up. Let us know what you want to talk about in the comment section. We'll be right back. And welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buckeyes along with Brandon Combs and Wyatt Williams. If you missed any of the part of the show whatsoever tonight, you can download the podcast form on iTunes, Spotify, or iHeartRadio, or you can also head over to manhourradio.com and check out the podcast form over there as well. Guys, starting here in about 10 p.m. East Coast time, we do have the After Hours show, so if you are a member, be sure to head over to manhourradio.com, click on the Members tab, and click on the After Show tab, and you can watch the After Show here. So let's go ahead and address some of these comments that have been rolling in throughout the show here. And Drew says, unfortunately, Alex Smith is considered a liability. I do not agree with that, but that is how it is. Combs, you are on the latter part of that. You think Alex Smith is a liability. Do you think he would have been a good pickup for the Eagles?
I do think Alex Smith is a liability. But at the same time, it's one of those where maybe he can still play. I just, man, I don't want to see what happens if he gets hurt or if something happens to that leg. And I think a lot of NFL executives, a lot of NFL coaches kind of feel the same way. I think it's one of those times where it's a sad story and everybody feels bad. He got comeback player of the year. Everybody's rooting for the kid. But nobody wants to see it happen. Like, it's
almost like, have you seen the movie Bleed for This?
No.
That's a great boxing movie. It's on Netflix. You guys got to watch it. But it's about this guy named Vinny Pazienza or whatever, and he's a boxer.
Oh, yeah.
And he gets into a car accident and, breaks his neck and everything. and he has to gets put in the Halo system, and he wants to come back and fight at the professional. It's a true story. He wants to come back and fight at the professional level again, and he gets back in the gym the first day, and like there's a newscast there because he was like one of the top fighters in the world, and there's a newscast there to watch him train for the first time, and he asked everybody in the gym, and nobody wanted to fight him because they didn't want to hurt him.
Yeah,
so it's kind of the same way, in a sense.
Yeah, but so the one thing that worried me about Alex Smith last year was he had that undisclosed calf injury, right? And he kept sitting out for that calf injury on that injured leg. Many people saying it wasn't related to the broken leg and like whatnot, but the calf is a part of the leg, so it has to be associated some way, somehow, some way. But with that being said, like he played 6 or 7 games like last year. He basically led the Washington football team to the playoffs.
I mean, look,
so.
I gotta tell you, I would have been happier with Alex Smith than I am with Andy Dalton as a Bears fan. I mean, for real, like I think
as
Alex
a Chiefs
Smith gives
fan,
this team a better chance to win.
As a Chiefs fan, I sat back and watched Alex Smith for 6 years or 7 years or whatever it was.
Yeah.
He is a good quarterback. He is a great guy.
What about Alex Smith in San Francisco? Back to San Francisco.
That's not going to happen. I think that bridge is burnt. Like there are times when you don't ever want to go back to a team, and I think he doesn't want to go back to San Francisco, because I think if he would have been the quarterback for the San Francisco's Super Bowl run, the year that he got the concussion, he would have had a Super Bowl ring. But that's just me. What's next up there on the comments?
Tori Anderson says the Bills and Cleveland went 17 years between playoff appearances before both of those were snapped in the last 2 years. So we were talking earlier about how the Bill what's better, the NFC or the AFC North or the AFC East, or which one's been worse. The Bills and Cleveland have been just as bad as one another.
Yeah,
Miami is
still
not very good.
I still think the Bills,
good conversation. It's a very close conversation as well.
I don't think so. I think the Bills are much better than Cleveland though over the last 10 years. I mean, when you look at it, they've never had a 0-16 or 1-15 team. I'll just read you from. Let me start here. I'll just start at 0-2, 8-8, 6-10, 9-7. 5-11, 7-9, 7-9, 7-9, 6-10, 4-12, 6-10, 6-10, 6-10, 9-7, 8-8, 7-9, 9-7. So a lot of like even years, then 6-10, 10-6, and then 13-3 this last year. So a lot of even years. Honestly, there's a lot of 7-9s, 9-7s, and 8-8s. They were never like a 0-16 team. You know what I mean? That's where I was kind of coming with it. Like, yeah, they went a long time without making the playoffs, but they were always close.
I mean, you look at the Browns. The Browns in the last 10 years are 4-12, 5-11, 4-12, 7-9, 3-13, 1-15, 0-16, 7-8, 6-10, 11-5. I mean, same thing. A lot of close to a 7-9 year, a 7-8, 7-8-1 year, an 11-5, a 6-10. You know what I mean? Like,
well, but that's this last year though. Like, still, it's like
you can say the same thing. You can say the same thing about the Bills. The last year they were 13-3. Like,
yeah,
don't be a prisoner of the moment.
The Bills were never 0 though. They were never 0-16. That's
great. That was 1 year though, Wyatt. I mean,
well, but they were 1-15 in 2 seasons. They won 1 game.
Wyatt,
I agree.
They won 1 single game over the Chargers in overtime, and the Chargers were trashed that year too.
You're right.
Yeah.
But let's look at the Buffalo Bills record from 2004 till 2019. They had 2 winning seasons.
Yeah, and that was when the
9-7.
Patriots were doing all of their damage in the AFC East.
2 winning seasons.
Like I said, I mean, it's a really good conversation. I mean, you could go back and forth. I think it's one of those where it's really hard to tell, which division was better, which division was worse. I mean, you'd have to go back and look at, each team's out of conference or out of division games. You'd have to go back and look and see, like who were the Browns playing when they, were 7-9? Who was their out of division schedule? Was it the New England Patriots? Was it you know what I mean? So there's lots of ways to look at it. I think it's probably very close. I think it's very safe to say that it's the Steelers and the Patriots probably both had it very easy as they were winning divisions a ton in the 2000s.
So guys, I just did a quick Google search here, and this is the last 10, or this is from 2010 to 2018 NFL records here. The worst team obviously has been the Cleveland Browns, coming in at 31, the Jacksonville Jaguars, and then you had the Bucks, Raiders, Washington Football Team, Tennessee Titans, and then the Buffalo Bills, and then the Jets. So, of those bottom tier teams, the AFC East has two teams in there. The AFC North has one team, but the NFC South has 3 teams in there. Wow.
Jeez,
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah. So that is an 8-year span from 2010 to 2018. So that's pretty recent time
God.
there. So
Good God. The 3 team, all 3, and the Saints are the only ones that aren't in it. And we've seen a Super Bowl appearance out of 2 of those teams.
right.
3, all 4, actually all 4. What am I saying? All 4 of those teams have been in Super Bowls in the last 10 years, but yet all 3 of them have just had isn't that crazy how roller coaster those teams have been then? They've been high and way
Right.
low, I guess. Or
And,
maybe just one high
something
and all
that-
the rest is low.
That in the last, I mean, it makes sense that in the last 10 years, the Patriots and the Pittsburgh Steelers have the 2 best records.
Yeah. Can you? Who do you guys guess is in the top 10 as far as record in the 8-year span?
Who else?
Saints, Ravens, Chiefs.
the best
Seahawks,
teams?
Packers.
Yes. So
I'll get it right now. It's easy.
Yeah. Okay.
Patriots are 1, I'm sure. Packers are probably 2.
Nope.
Then the Steelers are 2.
Yep.
Packers are 3. 4 is
Wow, you're trying to
4
get
is
order.
Seahawks.
I'd say
Yeah, 4 is
Seahawks,
Seahawks.
Saints.
5 is probably the Colts.
Saints.
Saints. Then the Colts are 6.
Ravens actually are 6.
Ravens are 6. Are the Colts
Chiefs?
7?
Nope. Chiefs.
Colts aren't up there.
Colts are
How
definitely
about
up
this?
there.
How about the biggest surprise that opened my eyes? The Denver Broncos, number 8.
I wanted
Yeah.
to say Denver, but I didn't.
They
I
are
can-
they're actually 2 wins below Kansas City Chiefs.
I would
that 8
say
years,
that Atlanta. I would say Atlanta, Dallas, and Philly are all ahead of Indy.
They are, yeah. So it is the Falcons, and then Philly and Dallas are tied for 10 and 11. And then it's the Bengals.
Where are the Colts at?
The Colts are number 14 behind the Carolina Panthers.
Really?
Wow.
I thought the Colts had done better than that.
No, they.
Well, you have to-
They had
well, you
some
have to
down
realize-
years, even with
Yeah.
luck.
Well,
Yeah.
and then Luck was out for, most of his career.
hold on.
it seemed
Yeah.
like,
We're only looking at 2010 to
20 years.
2018, right?
Yep.
So that's
No Peyton
okay,
that's
yes,
Peyton
that makes sense.
Manning.
That
Yeah,
makes
that's
sense.
when Peyton Manning's injuries going on. That's when all that stuff's happening.
And then they had that 2-14 year that year, so they could get Andrew Luck,
Yeah.
the biggest tank job of all time.
Yeah. Do you guys remember how down you were talking about Andy Dalton and how he can't win?
yeah,
12th in wins in that 8-year span.
Bears are winning the Super Bowl, baby.
They're doing it.
All right, guys. That is going to be it for the Man Hour tonight. There, as I slumber over my words, stuttering Buck at his finest. There, Combs. Any closing thoughts, man?
Man Hour Nation, rise up.
And if you are a member, guys, I sent you out an email this morning with the link to the after show, or you can also go to manhourradio.com, click on the after show on the members only tab, and join us for this fantastic after show that is starting right meow.
Right, meow.